In this video, we're going to go over the center console and dash plate options that we have for the S30 chassis. So 240, 260, 280Z. Bunch of different pieces and options. So we're just going to kind of pick that apart and go over some of the basic installation techniques as well as what options might work best for you. So over here we have the aluminum console for the 280Z. You might notice on the website that we don't have a console listed for the 260. That's just because it really depends on the dash you have. So some of the real early 260s, you might need the 240 style console, but almost all of them will take the 280Z style console. So if your dash mimics the 280Z style dash, then this is the console you'd need. If it looks like a 240 dash, then you need the 240 console. Almost all of them use the 280 center console though. So just a point of clarification there. These all come with a shift boot bezel that actually mounts to pinch the shift boot in there. The shift boot isn't provided, so that way you can just basically pick a universal one with colors and style that you like. See our supplemental video on the shift boot bezel installation and how to do that. If you have questions with that. When you go to install this, it'll come with the hardware. These holes line up with the holes in the top of the transmission hump. And then up front on the transmission, there's a bracket that runs across it that has a couple mounting points that line up to these in the side. We provide new machine hardware, machine screws to secure all that in. You can use the center console with the factory dash setup. And looks very similar to this except for the plastic one that will go in here, and you can use provided self-tapping screws to screw the plastic into the console, or with our console it has the rivnuts in there, so that way you can just use the provided M5 screws and secure the machine screw. These come blank, and so that way you can notch drill, do whatever you want to do to make your own custom array here. This is what we call the 280Z radio delete plate, and this top part will mount to the factory bracketry, so you can do just this if you wanted to with the console, or if you wanted to replace the upper piece too. It will come, you can get the dash plate and incorporate all your own stuff into that too if you would like. So again, you can get the console by itself. We do recommend, if you're getting the console, that you get the radio delete plate because it just integrates a little bit better than the factory one. The dash plate up top is just depends on what you want to do. If you want to leave the factory heater controls and things, then leave the factory, but if you're going to do something custom, then that's a great template to be able to do that. The other thing I'm going to mention is that you can choose to get a cup holder or not. And on the 280, the front just lines up, so what you'll do is you'll actually secure it to the transmission hump like this. A lot of guys will just do that, but we also provide well nuts. So that way, because when this is installed in the car, the luggage riser comes up here, so this comes all the way back in. And so you can mark and then drill holes for the rubber well nuts and install that in the back if you feel it's necessary. But with the bends in this, it's super rigid. Part of the reason that this is so far back is so when you're maybe on a spirited drive and shifting, you don't hit the cups or the cup holder with your elbow. We do have some guys that will mount them forward to make it closer. It just gaps right here. Wasn't necessarily intended for that, but some guys prefer it set forward, and because of how rigid it is, it works just fine like that. Another thing to point is that when you go to install it, once you have the pieces in, usually it's good to drop it in like this to position it into place. We have the cutout here for the e-brake, so often having the e-brake up gives you a little bit better clearance. The other thing I might mention on this is these sides will actually kind of wrap down around your transmission tunnel, and it is okay. You can see if they flex out a little bit. If you don't have the carpet or sound pad and stuff, should just drop down. And even in like my Z with this console, it doesn't flex much with the carpet and the sound pad. We've had some people that have expressed like a real challenge to get it in, and most of the time we've found that somebody has the insulation, carpet, and then somebody, the previous owner, had put more carpet, and some of them have even had 3 and 4 layers of carpet. And so that's something to keep in mind too when you're doing that installation. So over here we have the pieces that would be for the 240Z. Shift boot bezel's the same. Again, we have that supplemental video of how that works. The way this integrates into the dash is a little bit different, you know, and so the dash and the dash plate basically kind of come and set down on top of this. We do sell the dash plate separately if you wanted to take the heater controls and everything out and the radio and do something custom. This will mount into the dash, and then the console will come up and butt up underneath it. You know, again, the holes are mounting to the transmission tunnel, same with the ones on the side where there's a cross bracket there. The holes and stuff on this don't line up for the Series 1 240Z. We have had people use it and do a little modification, but hopefully we'll be able to get a Series 1 that we can play with before long and get that taken care of, but for now it's just this as the option. As far as the full console, on the factory one it kind of bubbles in and then the transmission tunnel bubbles out, so this widens out a little bit back here, and so you might find that where the seat belts come in, come up, if you're running like buckle seat belts and not like harnesses, it might be a little tight to get the seat belts as they come out. Those of you that are using the console and, you know, like a race car, semi-race car that are using a harness, obviously you're not getting back in there for the buckles because you're gonna hook them on your lap. It's also a little bit longer, so this back edge goes up to the luggage riser, which is here. And so on this one with the cup holder, you'll notice that when you line it up, it doesn't meet up with the holes. That's because the location of the mounting holes on the hump are different. And so what we've done is we've included enough well nuts in the kit that all you do is you drill a couple holes here, insert the well nuts, secure it down, as well as in the back if you'd like. And again, we have had some customers that opted to just flip it around forwards and use these as the mounting holes for the cup holder for the 240. Another question that we get is about our mini console. So we have the 240Z mini console, and what that essentially is doing is just replacing this top portion. There's the bracket that runs across the transmission tunnel. These line up into the dash and basically mount in and keep your whole transmission hump open, but still closing up that front portion and letting you mount any custom switches or gauges or whatever you want into this. And so this is a standalone piece. It does not incorporate with this. So if you wanted this similar look, but to have it come all the way back, that's why we also have the dash plate. And again, like, you don't have to use our center console. This dash plate, as well as the ones for the 280Z, they'll work with the factory consoles as well. So that just kind of lines out some of the things about the 240 center console. If you have any questions, please email us at sales@skillard.com, and these are all available to order as well from skillard.com.